The big stack. The most intimidating sight in all of poker. The short stack only has two options: shove or fold. The big stack's primary objective is to build an even bigger stack.
My goal the entire time has been to play to win, to maximize as much as I can potentially win it.
A lot of people would view me as being very aggressive. What it boils down to is that you've got to win when your chips are in.
Find the weak players, exploit the short stacks, and shatter their dreams. This is how you become the table captain. We're halfway through day 4 here at the PokerStars and Monte Carlo Casino EPT Grand Final main event. It's the final stop of EPT Season 10, and this year we've seen 650 entries and a prize pool of 6.5 million euros. Last time, 41 players were whittled down to 24, as familiar faces Vladimir Trinovsky, Gila Valbeck, and Christoph Vogelsang were amongst those to hit the rail. Online qualifier Sebastian Bretower managed to stay alive, as did short stacks David Williams and Mark Telcher, the last remaining former EPT champion.
That's beautiful.
Telcher's no stranger to late tournament play. This is the 4th time he's made it to the final 24. He may be a short stack now, but doesn't plan on being one for long.
Not just about making the money. What I would really like to do is to get a big chip stack, so I'd have a very, very good opportunity to win this competition.
He's not the only one not satisfied with a mere cash. Fellow Brit Jack Suter came 14th in a 1K tournament here in Monaco a few days ago. He has his eyes set on going further this time.
It's always the objective when entering the tournament to try and win the tournament. Anyone who hasn't got their eyes on that is not approaching the tournament right.
But leading the pack is chip leader Sebastian von Tophat, and he'll be sure to use that big stack to his advantage.
Playing short stack, you cannot do many mistakes. I'll have a pretty big stack, have a pretty good chance to go deeper in this tournament.
And after the redraw for seats at the final 3 tables, Sebastian remains at our feature table. Well, lots of qualifiers left. 12 of the final 24 won their seats online.
Where there's smoke, there's the online qualifier, Sebastian Bretower. Jack Suter, he's like a summer blockbuster cop. This summer, Jack Suter is back. And I know who can play as sidekick. Well, sure, it's possible, but you know you're trying to watch soccer, right? Kenny Hicks is an EPT reg, and this is one of his deepest runs ever, and apparently his hands are still wet from the bathroom. Hashtag get hat money. I hope if David wins, he doesn't spend all his money on hats. This is our chip leader, and he's having a most excellent tournament, Sebastian on Toppinger.
Well, Sebastian von Tophat is one of 5 online qualifiers at the feature table. He, Matthias Ruzzi, and Kenny Hicks are the table bosses, and they have position on the short stacks, David Williams and Connor Shelley. Blinds 8,000, 16,000 with a 2,000 ante. Action on Nikita Nikolaev under the gun. He passes. Magnus Carlsen from Sweden. He folds. Donnie Stern, David Williams, both out. Connor Shelley folds. Ruzzi gives up the button. Sebastian von Tophat calls in the small blind with Queen 5 suited. Kenny Hicks with Queen 7 suited checks his option.
Kenny Hicks. Come on, Kenny.
Queen 7 deuce, top pair for von Tophat, 2 pair for Hicks.
Well, I don't think anyone's going to be killing Kenny.
Von Tophat bet 17,000.
Some folks will just call here, but I really like a raise.
That is a raise to 55,000.
And the reason I like a raise is because nobody ever folds to a raise in this situation. It's a pretty narrow range that's being represented. This is just unfortunate for Sebastian.
He calls with less than 1% equity. And now he's drawing dead. He checks to Hicks.
Pretty good card for Kenny. Not only is Von Tophat start drawing dead, but it's not really a scare card for him either.
He barrels for 80,000.
Sebastian could easily put him on clubs or just a random spew.
On Tophat to calls.
People do spew. They spew.
318,000 in the middle. Rivers the 4 of hearts. On Tophat to checks.
Such a great run out for Hicks. Bring it on down to Valueville.
He bets roughly half the pot, 150,000.
Now, there's an argument for folding here, but anyone that acts like folding is easy as lying. And they're probably the kind of person that would lie about having a girlfriend at summer camp.
Von Tophat to calls.
I can't believe he called it. What a loser. Just kidding. That was pretty unlucky, and I think they both played it pretty good.
Kenny Hicks just increased his stack by 30%. And Sebastian Von Tophat has lost the tournament chip lead. He falls into 5th place on the leaderboard, with Kenny Hicks moving up to 3rd.
Did you just say Sebastian Von 5th placer?
Martin Sealis is the new chip leader, and our qualifier, Sebastian Bretower, rounds off the top 10. And Bretower is in action. He's raised under the gun with pocket 3s.
You know, he's really starting to grow on me. He's like the child you thought you didn't want, but then you love him anyway.
Action on Malter in the big blind. He has ace-jack.
Maybe we see a 3-bet, but not usually against under the gun.
He calls. The flop is King 8-6 with 2 clubs. Bretower still ahead. Mernig checks.
Maybe Bretower wouldn't want this pot to get any bigger with such a weak hand, but I think we're about to see a bluff with the best hand. He's actually fine with some weaker hands folding. Look how much equity Ace-Jack's got.
Bretower continues for 38,000.
Yeah, he's really not going to mind getting a fold here.
And Mernig does fold.
Hey, it worked. This kid's all right. Sorry I missed all those birthdays. Can I borrow money?
And Sebastian Bretower moves up over the 1 million mark.
When I made day 3, I never expected to get to the bubble. There were 123 players left, and I was so short stake. When they came closer to the bubble, I was just focused on the money. When I made the money, I immediately called my girlfriend and my parents, and everybody was so surprised. They didn't believe at all that I get in the money or something like that. Me too, of course, and it was great. Everything was all right, everyone was happy, and I had no pressure at all after this, so I'm just playing poker now.
You can tell he's a rook because he told his girlfriend he won money. Huge mistake.
Get behind our online qualifier. Tweet messages of inspiration using the hashtag EPT. Action at the feature table. Folded around to David Williams. Pocket 9s.
289,000.
He is all in.
Wasn't it all in, or did he just raise the exact amount of his stack?
Either way, the dealer gives him a triangle.
Big raise, too. You want to give hands like 8s and 7s a chance to shove over the top.
289.
Everyone folds.
I thought you bet, when you said 289, I thought you left like 1, and when someone went all in, you were going to just chuck it or something,
That's
like
a good-
table
that's the
aces.
next
So I was like,
move,
that was my
yeah.
read that you had something big and you wanted to
I
just
did,
flip
but
it in.
yeah, that's the next move to do that one.
Igor style on the super high roller. He won like 9 all-ins or something. It was insane.
Yeah, you're right.
Igor Kurganov made an amazing comeback at the Super High Roller final table, eventually finishing 3rd.
Was I here for that?
Yes. To the outer table, where Maya Roka is facing a 3-bet from last year's 10th place finisher Vasily Fursau.
All in.
All in.
Roka shoves, and Fursau calls
30 big blind shove from Roka.
with Queen Jack.
That seems, you know, it's not you, it's me. I think calling would have been fine.
Fursau ahead with Ace King.
You can't believe this guy, Queen Jack.
Oh, it's a Jack high flop.
That is not looking good.
Roker still has to fade an ace or a king on the river.
For first how, it's looking even more not good.
Roker doubles up.
You thinking I fold? You thinking I fold?
Yes, here we go.
You close eyes and car and this play. Yeah.
Yeah, he kind of did do that. Drove his car right into Vasily's mailbox. I think people maybe get a little antsy in the pantsy trying to build a stack for the final table.
Over to the secondary feature table, where Malter has raised from the cutoff. Action on Jack Salter in the big blind.
Against a cutoff raiser, I think he can 3-bet for value in this spot, but calling's probably a little safer. And you get a teensy bit of deception. Have you seen this boy?
Salter calls.
Obviously, that's a man who could appreciate some sweet, sweet deception.
Action flop alert. Top for Salter. Top 2 for Mernig. He is an 85% favorite.
In the words of Ernest, ew.
Salter's playing in flow. He's checked to the razor.
He is in big, big trouble. He could easily call down 3 streets, maybe even raise.
The c-bet from Mernig is for 30,000.
Mernig's got every reason to bet this. Jack's gonna think he's the one who's trapping. Top pair, top kicker, very strong. It's not supposed to lose that often. Looks like he's gonna avoid raising at least.
He calls the 30k. The turn card is a 10. So Salter picks up a gut shot.
I expect Jack to either check call, maybe even check raise.
Oh, looks like he's leading.
Okay then. This isn't really a stellar card for Jack's range. When he plays it this way, his range is usually going to be capped at 2 pair.
He bets out for 65,000.
It also would have been a good card to let your opponent keep bluffing at. In Jack's defense, Malta wouldn't have been bluffing. So he could call here, or he could raise.
He raises 190,000 total.
Well, Jack may have saved himself some chips playing it this way. Or cost himself a lot more if he doesn't fold.
Good hand.
He folds.
Gets away. Alright.
Malter Mernig adds 152k to his stack and reclaims the tournament chip lead. He's the only player in the tournament with more than 100 big blinds. Salter sits in 7th. Our qualifier Bretower is 9th in chips. Back at the main feature table. Action on Donnie Stern.
I wish Donnie would talk more. His voice is like buttery New York gravel.
Pocket 9s. Under the gun +2. He raises. David Williams is a short stack and has ace-jack.
I'm all in.
He shoves.
Missed it again. I got my own.
I carry one with me.
What?
300 or 298, I think.
He carries his own triangle?
It's under 300. 295.
Stern calls and we're off to the races.
Like the chicken versus the egg.
Thank you.
See, that's how you go into a hand with a planly, Stanley. Donnie Stern snap calls with the 9s.
And there's a 9 on the flop.
Didn't even notice the 9 at first.
Me neither, if I'm going to be honest.
David Williams needs running cards to survive. He's out.
See you, my man. Game.
Oh, awkward handshake. And he left the triangle.
David Williams will not be completing his triple crown here in Monaco, thanks to Donnie Stern.
Bad beat, missing out on a triple crown. Worst beat, going back to your room and finding out Noah Boken's left a sock on the door.
Now, the Prince's car collection might be a lot of fun, and it only costs €6 to get in.
Yeah, but I read on the internet that it's only €3 for infants, so are you thinking what I'm thinking?
Are you ready? Welcome back to the PokerStars and Monte Carlo Casino EPT Grand Final. Before the break, we lost short stack David Williams, who walked away with 36,700 euros.
I'm still happy. I was short stacked all day, even late last night, and hung on, and still had a nice payday, and I was happy with how I played today.
We've since lost another 2 players, so we're down to 21. And at the secondary feature table, Nicholas Petrangelo is raised from mid-position with kings. Mark Telcher has ace-9 on the button. And that's a 3-bet.
Six re-raises.
Gulp.
96,000.
Jack Salter in the small blind.
Say, that's a nice bike.
96,000.
He folds.
7-4.
Steve Silverman in the big blind also passes. It's back on Petrangelo.
Hey, Nicky Petrangelo, how's your ma? I think we're mostly gonna see 4 bets here.
Nope, just a call.
I love this call. He's got 1.5 pot behind. If he's trying to get it in on any flop, I think that's by far the best way to play in this spot.
8-7-5. That's a gut shot for Telcher. King's still way ahead. Action's been checked to Mark.
It might look odd, but I think Mark's got to jam.
I'm on him.
All in. All
And
in.
he gets snap called.
I got something. Nice hand.
Telcher has 7 outs. He needs an ace or a 6 to eliminate Petrangelo.
Unfortunately, he caught that flop just enough.
1 card to come.
Nicky Petrangelo, you stressing, bro? You look like a tomato.
A 3 on the river. Petrangelo doubles up through Telcher.
Nice hand, sir. Too bad he didn't brick that flop. He could have gotten away from it, but no.
Telcher down to 283k.
And he's pretty sure the hotel shampoo and body wash are the same thing, but he just can't prove it.
Back to the main feature table up on the stage, where Connor Shelley has continued this king-high flop for 45,000.
Hickey getting sticky. Taking one off with ace-high.
Hicks calls. He does have the best hand.
Well, yeah, I guess, if you're gonna get all technical about it. Whatever.
The turn card is the 6 of clubs. Hicks is now an 86% favorite. He checks.
I don't think Connor's always gonna be able to fire twice at this.
Shelley slows down. He checks behind. A 4 on the river.
Hey, it's like one of those basketball hoops at a carnival. Everybody misses.
And this might be a case of Kenny Hicks bluffing with the best hand.
Correct. He believes he can get some better hands to fold, better ace highs, probably pairs worse than 7s.
Shelley lays it down.
Hicks just wanted it more. Tempted to call him table captain, but we all know the correct ranking is corporal. Table corporal Hicks.
I've been playing poker professionally since I was 19, so 7 years. My best run in an EPT was in 2007 at EPT Dublin, which was my first European Poker Tour event. It's still my biggest live cash to date, 33,000 USD. I got into this tournament on a $300 hyper tournament. I wasn't going to come unless I satellited in, and here I am. I play a lot of poker, obviously, as most poker players do, but I enjoy being outdoors, playing basketball, doing anything that's sporty. My fiance and I, Elizabeth, have been together for 4 or 5 years now, and we've been engaged for a little over a year. We went to school together, graduated from high school together, and went to the same university, and we're the same age. I'm pretty easygoing, and just getting married to her would make me happy. So I basically I want what she wants with the wedding because that's the girl's special day. Hopefully we can tie the knot soon. This would provide a very lovely honeymoon for us. The prestige of winning an EPT it's huge. The toughest players come out to play the European Poker Tour, and they have the biggest fields of most poker tours around. Winning this title would definitely, it would be amazing. It would mean the world to me.
Kenny Hicks is perhaps the most American name I've ever heard. Well, except for Johnny Shotgun. I miss old Johnny.
Over to the secondary feature table where our qualifier, Sebastian Bretower, is facing a button raise from Nicholas Petrangelo.
Hey, Nicky Petrangelo, you like the button?
Bretower has re-raised. It's a 3-bet to 125,000.
Yes, the invisible chair. Love this gag. I also like the 3-bet.
How much you started the hand with?
This is close to 10% of Petrangelo's stack. You'd think he'd wait for a better spot.
950.
Don't just stand there. Get some deep knee bends in while you're up. Everybody skips leg day.
Wow, Petrangelo calls.
Oh, that's a little light, Nicky Petrangelo. You better watch out, Nicky. Hate for something to go wrong here, Nicky.
9-5-4 on the flop. Top pair for Bretower.
How much do you have behind?
900 to start.
Petrangelo may decide to call again after flopping this gut shot. Guess it depends on the bet size.
Bretower's continuation bet is 275,000. That's a decent chunk of Petrangelo's stack.
Bretower's gonna scare away his action with that one.
Nice hand.
I'm gonna call that bet Matthew Broderick's Godzilla because it was kind of a bomb and it's not gonna turn a profit.
Well, remember, this 23-year-old student qualified for free using his frequent player points. This is his first ever live tournament, and he's currently playing a stack of 1.1 million, meaning he is 7th on the leaderboard. Kenny Hicks is the current chip leader. Jack Suter has moved up to 3rd, and former tournament boss Malter has dropped down into 5th place. Well, Mernig is in a hand at our secondary feature table. He's raised from under the gun +1 with King 10 suited. Mark Telcher, all in with pocket 3s.
He's short. He's getting called by Mernig if it gets back to him without someone else waking up with a monster.
The blinds pass. Back on Mernig.
Isn't that a PCA 10 hoodie? Mine disappeared. The night Malta Mernig came over.
Mernig calls, and we have a race.
Like lighting a match versus a courtesy flush. PU.
Telcher, the player at risk. And the slight statistical underdog. A 7-7 on the flop.
Telcher's okay with it. Personally, I'd rather not see a paired board to start things off, though I guess you have to be happy about the lack of kings and 10s.
Mernig has 9 outs, looking for an ace, king, or 10 to eliminate Telcher.
And the part of Malta Mernig played by Paul Dano.
Telcher doubles up.
You know, Paul Dano, the girl next door, There Will Be Blood. That should cover all of you.
Well, Mark Telcher still way below average.
And hopefully this double up will pull his string again. It's quiet out there without him.
Back to the main feature table. Blind still 10-20. Kenny Hicks with King 10 suited. Raises from under the gun.
I think Johnny Shotgun would approve.
Nikita Nikolaev folds. Magnus Carlsen is out. Donnie Stern has pocket 8s.
Not usually a spot for a 3-bet, and 8s are way too strong to fold, so that leaves
a call.
Well done.
Connor Shelley on the button. Folds. Matthias Rutzi in the small blind. Also passes.
I don't know what my bit's gonna be about that guy, but there's something, I know it.
Jacks for Sebastian von Tophat are in the big blind.
Hoo boy!
And this 3-bet may look like a squeeze.
Should be an easy fold for Kenny, though.
Sure enough, he passes. Action on Stern.
Well, we know he should fold.
All in.
He shoves.
Donnie's play makes sense.
And gets called.
Sebastian's gonna be squeezing there some of the time, and a lot of the rest of the time they'd be racing.
What does he have? 8?
So glad he asked. I didn't want to have to take off my sunglasses either.
Stern dominated and at risk. It's a low flop. Club's not a factor. 4 cards to a straight out there now.
Opportunities.
Minus 5, whatever.
No 5, please.
I could live with that.
I prefer an 8, no 5.
You prefer an 8?
Yeah.
What? Everyone loves a chop pot.
The river is a 6. Donnie Stern eliminated.
I assume you have me covered, right?
He does. You're out of here. Excellent.
Donnie Stern out in 21st place. He'll receive 42,850 euros. This is his second ever EPT main event cash. His first was all the way back in 2007 at EPT4 Barcelona. And as the players go on break, Sebastian von Tophat is back in control. The online qualifier is chip leader once again. If you want to play in an EPT event, go to PokerStars.com. There are qualifiers every day.
It's the Rolls Royce from A View to a Kill. An old school Jaguar in British racing green. This is fantastic. You're not excited?
I don't know, walking around looking at a bunch of cars you're never gonna drive is like going underwear shopping with a girl you're just friends with.
You used to be the fun one.
Yeah, well, it's not like I want to start the engine. I just want to sit in it, turn the wheel a little, maybe press the pedals.
As you rejoin us, David Yan is facing a big decision here at the PokerStars and Monte Carlo Casino EPT Grand Final. Antonio Buonanno has shoved on him.
Cool.
And Yan calls all in. Buonanno with a straight.
Nuts.
Yan with a set.
Not the nuts.
And he's out.
Yanny. Can't you see? Sometimes your words just hypnotize me.
So we're down to 18. Blinds are 12-24, and we're gonna sweat with Kenny Hicks.
Sweat with Kenny sounds like we should be sitting on a back porch somewhere, sipping lemonade, talking about Johnny Shotgun.
Hicks defends his big blind to an under-the-gun raise from Nikita Nikolaev. King Jack suited is Hicks's hand.
Easy call.
And he flops top pair.
And this will be another easy call. Let's just check and let our opponent continuation bet.
There's the check. Here comes the bet. 50,000.
Man, if poker could always be this easy. We're almost always calling here, but it's okay to take our time with it, make it seem like we're thinking about something. Make it seem like we're thinking about having another glass of lemonade.
Hicks throws in 2 yellow chips, and we go to the turn. 6 of hearts.
Probably another check call situation.
Once again, Hicks checks to Nikolaev. He's loading up for a second barrel. That is 81,000.
This call's a little less easy, but we've got a pretty weak range, and we're nearly at the top of it. Even if Nikita is telling the Nico truth, Ev, we're still beating some of that.
Hicks calls the second barrel, and we go to the river with 388,000 in the pot. The 2 of hearts pairing the board, and it's a third heart.
We don't love it, but we don't expect him to have hearts here too often. I especially don't think he'll have the ace that often because he might not always continue with just ace high.
Wow, Nikolaev bets big on the river, 248,000.
It's a big bet. We're not beating any value hands, but I don't know what value hands he could be firing 3 streets with. Sets, I guess. Even though we're not beating too many value hands, or maybe none at all, I think we have to call here. There just aren't that many value hands out there.
Hicks does call. Nikolaev shows ace-7 of hearts. He flopped second pair and then backed his way into the nut flush.
He didn't have ace high in the flop. He had ace-7. Ace-7, everyone. Ace-7.
Over to the secondary feature table. Action on Mark Telcher. Pocket 5's in the cutoff, and he raises to 50,000. Jack Suter folds the button. Silverman gives up the small blind. Nicholas Petrangelo in the big blind has pocket 9s.
All in.
And he shoves.
Tough spot for 5s. Nick could definitely do this with worse. Yeah.
And you are 700?
Yeah, I got you covered by a bit.
Wow, no. Was that really necessary?
Actually, no.
Yeah, I'll show you. It was necessary.
You show me?
I've said too much.
After all, you did win a big pot against me before. I hope you haven't just taken the complete pisser.
He's American. He thinks you just asked if he went to the bathroom.
Telcher folds.
Looks like the correct answer there was 3-bet to induce. 3-bet to induce.
Nice hand. Yes, I agree with you. Necessary.
Love it when everyone accepts it. Like, yeah, okay, fair raise, fair shove, we're all happy. Yeah.
5-2.
You raised a good hand, you raised a better hand.
What'd you have?
2 5s.
He's lying. He had the other 2 5s.
It's a reasonable raise when we've got 2 5s.
Salter's face says it all. Cool story, bro.
We first met Mark Telcher back in 2005. He was an unknown local lad at EPT London in Season 2. He'd outlasted 240 players and only needed to avoid a diamond on the river to win his first ever EPT title.
And Mark Telcher triumphantly punches the sky.
Looking back on it, it was a very exciting time because I got very much involved in poker over the next 5 years from that. Which was absolutely delightful. And from then I was addicted to poker. I've never stopped playing since.
Of course he won EPT London. Did you see that giant magical crystal scepter?
Well, at the outer table, it's Roker versus Fursau once again.
Yes! After seeing what Roka got it in with before, I'm not sure Vasily's gonna ever give him too much credit.
The flop is 10-5-3 with 2 diamonds, and Roker bets 115,000.
When this happens to you, all you're thinking in your head is, what, you got Queen Jack again? You got Queen Jack again?
Queen Jack of diamonds? Fursau calls.
Well, he's got Queen Jack beat.
7 of spades on the turn. 2 flush draws out there now.
Roka.
He slows down, he checks.
When he slows down, I expect him to have a decent ace high or a 10 or a 7.
Fursau takes over the betting, makes it 205,000.
And this is usually going to mean top pair or better because a lot of his lower suited connectors are going to have pairs that can check back.
Roker calls. Nearly a million chips in the middle. And a 3 on the river, pairing the board. Roker checks. Fursau checks. Roker with king high. He did have a flush draw on the flop. Fursau with ace high. Wins it.
And I was completely wrong. Some would say King Jack should have double barreled there. Somehow Vasily value bet ace queen high in the turn and got called by worse. I don't know what was going on there, but that doesn't mean it was bad. I didn't know what was going on the first 3 seasons of The Wire.
Fursau not complaining this time as he stacks chips. Meanwhile, let's check in on our qualifier.
I'm gonna assume the fire's on the inside. He seems like more of a smolderer.
From the hijack, he raises with king queen to 55,000. Mark Telcher in the cutoff. Folds. Jack Salter on the button. Ace-8 suited.
Seems good enough for a positional poke.
He calls. Steve Silverman in the small blind. Passes. As does Nicholas Petrangelo in the big blind.
Are you the legal guardian of John Connor?
The flop is 9-6-3, so both players whiff. Brett Howard does not continue.
I think a c-bet does work there sometimes. Even if you get called, you're usually going to have okay equity. And Jack Salter, he's firing up the old blufferator. Not terribly necessary, but he could maybe get some better hands to fold, especially if he's willing to go for this on multiple streets.
Salter bets 69,000.
Sebastian, Jack's kind of done you a favor here. So now fold and say thank you.
Brett Howard folds.
You know, Jack Salter is actually my first choice of online qualifier, but I'm glad we ended up with you.
And with that hand, Jack Salter has just taken the chip lead. He has close to 1.75 million. Sebastian Brethauer is still in the top 10, still playing a 7-figure stack. 18 players remain.
Lots of new faces out there. Who do you guys think is going to end up as the new boss? Tag your tweets, EPT. Oh, and tell us your favorite color. Mine's blue.
Back to the main stage. Connor Shelley is under the gun. And has kings.
48.
Since this hand is a monster, I think we should call it Connor Shelley's Frankenstein.
So he's raised it up to 48,000. Kenny Hicks on the button. Has jacks.
Ooh, 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 ooh.
Let the clicking commence.
He actually doesn't have to 3-bet here, not against under the gun. He's 3-betting. He's 3-betting.
He makes it 102,000.
Once he does 3-bet, he cannot fold to a 4-bet.
Nikolaev folds the small blind. Magnus Carlsen in the big blind. Also passes.
$210,000.
There's the 4-bet.
All in?
And a 5-bet shove. Called by Shelley.
Don't mess with Texas.
A huge pot. And Connor Shelley's tournament life on the line, but he's a big favorite. Scratch that, jack on the flop.
I guess there's a reason they don't allow Hold'em there. Look at Kenny. Man, it must be hard not to laugh.
Shelley down to 10% equity. Does pick up additional outs on the turn. Looking for a king or a queen on the river.
Frankenstein, meet pitchforks.
Shelley's out.
Got it, guys. Nice playing.
Eliminated in 18th place.
I was going to say going out like that is the worst, but then I remembered the Benz.
Lucky me.
Connor Shelley, bad beat by Kenny Hicks, who's now second on the leaderboard.
Call him a big old pile of pulled pork because he is on a roll. And speaking of rolls, that bus is toast.
Was hoping we might be able to spot Lewis Hamilton here because he's supposed to be doing a signing.
I don't know who that is.
F1 driver?
F1, no way, NASCAR, baby. Yeah, get her done. I bet he doesn't even have a mullet.
"17 players remain in the PokerStars and Monte Carlo Casino EPT Grand Final, and Jack Salter is leading the way. Can he remain table captain and make that push for the final table?
I first started years back just playing online. I'd say like the last 2 years I've played more on the live circuit and really actually enjoy playing more live. I think it's pretty sociable, it's fun, and as a poker player you can gain extra edges, you have more information available. Maybe other people will be feeling the pressure from me a bit and won't mess with me seeing as I have a lot of chips. I think I'm reading people really well on our table. I feel I have a lot of live reads on everyone that I've played with so far. If you put yourself in their shoes and maybe try to put them in some tough spots too, I think people are going to find it reasonably difficult to play against, and I'm not going to give them an easy time.
Confidence. You're doing it right.
Action is on Jack Salter at the secondary feature table. He has Jack 9 in the hijack.
Action Jack Salter with a jack in the hijack. Woof.
He raises to 53,000.
53,000. 53.
Malter Mernick has ace 10 in the small blind.
We could see a 3-bet. We could see a call. We could see him shoot lightning out of his fingertips at Luke Skywalker.
Well, it is a re-raise from the guy in the grey hoodie. So, what's the guy in the grey hoodie gonna do?
Well, the guy in the gray hoodie has a hand that doesn't play very well when you just call, and neither does the guy in the gray hoodie. So I like the 3-bet, and I also like this 4-bet.
246,000 from Salter.
These plays work on both sides of the gray hoodie, particularly with how deep they both are.
Mernick lets it go. Salter boosts his chip lead. He is very much the captain of this secondary feature table.
Old Captain Jack. Knock, knock.
Who's there?
A guy in a gray hoodie.
Play a small pot.
Self-confidence level undefined.
Up on the main stage, action is on Kenny Hicks.
48.
He's raising from under the gun with King Queen.
That was almost a question. Yes, 48.
Nikolaev folds. Carlsen on the button has pocket tens.
No reason to get too crazy against under the gun, but he could 3-bet if he really wanted, probably.
He calls. Rutzi folds the small blind. Sebastian von Tophat has ace-5 in the big blind.
Getting pretty good immediate pot odds. And it looks like he's going to actually show us now why Donnie's shove against him with 2-8s was probably the right play.
Yes, this is very much a squeeze. A 3-bet to 160k.
More like Squeezy von Squeezer, sir.
No. Just no.
Again, like the last time this happened, this should be a pretty easy fold for Kenny Hicks.
And it looks like he's counting out a re-raise.
Looks like he sniffed out that squeeze.
There's the 4-bet, 285,000.
Oh, this is a really gross spot for Magnus Carlsen. Totally understandable if he folds.
Jack Salter's come over to check out who's the boss at this table.
Not Magnus Carlsen.
Carlsen folds the best hand.
Man, is he going to be peeved when he watches this.
And von Tophat folds as well.
I really like the 4-bet because you can fold out ace-queen in some hands that could flop really well and maybe stack you.
Hicks now second on the leaderboard. Well, we were aiming to play down to 16 tonight, but with 17 players remaining, we're coming to the end of the last level of the day. We're going to play 2 more hands. At the secondary table, Petrangelo has opened, Bretower has called, action on Telcher. He passes.
We're at 7 still.
740.
740 total.
Jack Salter is in the big blind. He has pocket 5s.
Seems like a pretty good spot for a call. We come in peace.
All in.
Salter uses his big stack to bully the other 2.
No, we do not come in peace.
Is that binding in and itself?
Good question.
I was just wondering about this move.
Can't be binding. Too easy to angle shoot.
Both players fold.
It's not binding, is it?
Well,
It doesn't count.
What does that mean?
All in, apparently.
Just requesting the triangle. I learned it in Macau. I'm trying to bring it into Europe, but people don't seem to be happy with it.
Yeah, we're also fine eating with forks and spoons too, Jack.
Salter still in command of that table and up over 2 million now. As we head back to the main stage. Tyasarutsi folds under the gun. Sebastian von Tophat passes. Kenny Hicks has Queen Jack on the button.
All right, all right, all right.
48.
He raises.
And again, it kind of sounded like a question.
Nikita Nikolaev in the small blind has pocket jacks.
Oh, hello there. And you know this guy is good because his shirt says he's been to the World Series.
I have the 2005 version of that t-shirt. I'm not very good at poker.
Don't sell yourself short, buddy.
Nikolaev re-raises. A 3-bet to 137,000, which gets rid of Carlsen. It's back on Hicks.
Even though we know he's crushed, Kenny can certainly peel here.
He calls with the advantage of position. Heads up to the flop. Which is queen high. Top pair for Hicks.
Kenny was justified to call before the flop, and he'd be even more justified to call here.
Here comes the continuation bet from Nikolaev.
I think Jacks could actually maybe check here. There's not too much to be afraid of, and if you're beat, you're really beat.
141,000.
Kenny Hicks, a deliberate player. But make no mistake, he is going nowhere. Like people's obsession with posting pictures of their food.
He calls. The turn card is the deuce of clubs, pairing the board. Nikolaev slows down, he checks.
Makes sense, but now his hand's a little more face up, and by betting and getting called on the flop, he's actually given Kenny a stronger range. This would be a very good value bet, assuming his sizing isn't all out of whack.
All those yellow chips are worth 25,000 each. The blues are worth 5,000 each.
And we already know blue's my favorite color.
230,000.
Jacks are almost never folding here. Not that they should be very often.
Nikolaev counts out the call. And we now have a pot of more than $1 million.
Looks like I should have worn a coat.
The rivers are 6. Hicks with a lock on this hand. Nikolaev checks.
Hicks value betting the turn was good. Value betting here would be excellent. Again, assuming he doesn't botch the sizing. My guess is he won't.
Well, that's just under half the pot, 450,000.
Love this bet. What a great read by Kenny Hicks.
Is Nikolaev going to pay it off? No, he folds.
And a great fold, too. Some excellent poker happening here.
So Kenny Hicks wins the last hand of the night and takes the tournament chip lead.
Wait, what? No, things were just getting good.
It's time for the final 17 to bag and tag and come back for day 5. Meanwhile, over at the secondary feature table, Jack Suter just lost a decent pot.
I started with that many, less than that today.
Cool story, bro.
Mayorka finishes day 4 with an above-average stack.
And it burns, burns, burns. The qualifier. How exciting. First ever live tournament. And look at those cute little stacks of 5s.
But no one's got more than this guy.
Hey guys, I'm going home.
So we still have 3 tables. 17 players will come into the penultimate day of this tournament, including 1 former EPT champ, Mark Telcher, and 9 online qualifiers. They include our qualifier, Sebastian Bretower, Jack Suter, and the monster stack with 2.5 million, chip leader Kenny Hicks.
It's great to be chip leader. Obviously tomorrow's going to be a lot of fun, going in as the #1 chip stack. I don't want to tell any strategy, obviously, but yeah, I'm going to play my game and hopefully it all works out well.
Next time, we play down to the final 8. Jack Suter finds himself in some tricky spots.
Sorry everyone, really don't know what to do.
Why would you bluff me?
Mark Telcher gets chatty.
If they get knocked out, we win big competition here. Do something stupid, you're in deep trouble. Don't do that again.
But a new star may emerge as the final table lineup will be decided.